Shit, I never come up with an intro in time. Hi, my name is Krisha. This is Gay Monologues, and it's been a while, so I don't remember how to do this, but I'm here today with Chris Cross from Loud and Proud. Chris, go ahead.
Yes, Chris is fine. I don't know why I call myself Chris Cross. It was something fun. First episode, and I said, let's make that thick. I thought hide my identity. Meanwhile, I think I've said my actual name like 15 times throughout the show. So, and at this point, I was like, it is what it is. I don't care.
I don't think I've caught
yeah,
it.
I host Loud and Proud podcast. I don't know if I actually have. I feel like I have. I might have said it in like Greek, the short form Chris, and then I'll just say it here. The full name's just Christos. It's okay. But yeah, my podcast, I just talk about everything. Lately I've been talking a lot about just major celebrity hot headlines and general headlines, and my show is just you come, we're gonna curse, we're gonna real talk, and like Barbara told me, just plug your show in whenever you can. So she didn't teach me personally, but through the view, she taught me. She taught Joy Behar, and she taught me. You plug that show whenever you're on something else.
That is working, and you always like. I always know what's going on with pop culture because of your show. I'm like, oh my god, like the cinnamon. The guy who found the cinnamon. He found the shrimp tails in the cinnamon box.
Oh yes, him.
Yeah,
yes,
I was like,
yes.
Whoa, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who this guy was, and then I listened to your podcast. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't know who he was either, and I didn't even really know the story. And then I was like, let me just look into this. And then I was like, yo, this man is married to my God, I'm gonna forget her name. I know her real name, Topanga from Boy Meets World. There we go. And I was like, this is the only reason, because her name was trending almost, if not more than his name, because we were like, wait, he's married to Topanga?
No, but isn't she married to Ben Savage?
In my mind, yes. They're still married. They got a minivan. They go to the cottage every summer.
I tried to watch Girl Meets World, but it's okay.
I tried.
Yeah.
It's like Raven's Home. It's okay. Let another generation enjoy it.
Yeah. It's not the same, man. It's not nostalgic. I tried. I could do a couple more episodes of Raven's Home, but that's it. And like Chelsea's Charm is not the same there too. I'm like, now they make her too stupid.
Yeah, I feel like it's just Disney really like filtered. Like, where are the days where we had episodes about like pedophiles and like smoking cigarettes and race? Like, I don't know if they still have these episodes. Anytime I tune in to Disney now, it is just so filtered. I'm like, where's the real stuff happening?
Like, I still remember watching that episode of Smart Guy where he was almost like he was photographed like in a bathing suit by this pedophile, and I had no idea what that was until that episode. That was so
exactly.
I'm like, that shit happens for real. That's scary.
I remember when my mom was sitting with us, she said, now you guys are going to be quiet and you're going to watch this and you're going to listen to what they're about to say. And I was like, okay, mom, no worries. I don't know what's the big deal, just a video game. And then it was funny because I think I was in like grade 7 or 8, and you know how like police come to your school and like they talk about a certain topic. It just so happened they showed that video from Smart Guy, and the entire class was like, we've seen this. And they're like, you guys have seen this? I'm like, we grew up watching this.
Oh shit, they came and showed you in like the 7th grade.
Yeah, it was something like yeah, it was something like the 7th grade. They were talking about like just safety in general, but because we were older, they wanted to let us watch Smart Guy. And I was like, listen, I watched this back in like, I don't even know when, like grade 4.
Yeah, that show's from the 90s that the police don't have better content, like newer content.
Honestly, do you remember, what is it? Stay alert, stay safe was like the slogan. That's what, when they came to our school, whenever there was anything about like child safety, it was always like, stay alert, stay safe. And like, they never changed it. And maybe they have now, but when I was growing up, it was always the same video.
It's so like ingrained in my memory. And for context, everybody, I'm from Toronto and Chris is from Toronto,
Yes, sorry.
and from my Instagram stalking, I've concluded that we're around the same age. So,
Exactly, yes, same.
right. So, welcome, Chris, and thank you for
Thank you.
bringing me down nostalgia lane. That felt good. So originally, I asked, like, I was just okay. This is how Chris and I met. I reposted some story on my Instagram story of
Yes.
Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, and Chris replied, I'm like, who? And then I have like another account called Loud Pride where I like try to raise money for charity and stuff. And then I was like, oh my god, it's like similar names. So I don't know, it's fun talking to Chris. And then we started talking about haircuts, and I found out that his sister cut his hair during COVID, and I told him that I wanted to have hair like Johnny Depp.
Yes, I remember that, and side note, Sandra Oh's character is one of my favorite all-time characters.
Me
So the
too.
second you posted that, you had me sold. And it's funny, I tried this week to get my like to do my cut my hair, and like I trim the top, my sister trims the sides, but we didn't have time, and that's why there's no product in my hair, because after this we're cutting it. It's too much.
I didn't. Man,
You
your hair looks good to me. I'm like, whoa, he's gotten it slicked back and
Thank
stuff.
you. I purposely pulled the headset out so it can pull my hair back and keep it aligned because it's wet. So eventually, like halfway through the show, it's just gonna frizz out.
I think I do the same with my headset. Like it keeps it back so I don't have to worry about it. Very helpful.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Right. That's how we met. Trying to remember where I was at now. Yeah, and I found his podcast, and now I just wanted to ask you. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been using pronouns, but how do you identify?
Oh yes, he, him. I identify as.
And I guess in the LGBTQ
Oh
spectrum.
yes, sorry. Sorry, yes. So it's funny. I identify as bisexual, although I don't always tell people that because I feel like there's just always a natural just stigma around it.
Yeah.
So depending on how I feel, I'll just say gay or bisexual because at this point, most of the time you're not going to know the real truth of who I am anyway.
It's
But
such
I do identify as bisexual.
well, that's good to know. Yeah, I know. I guess it's just I think for me that I recognize that bisexual men have always received a really bad stigma in the community. I don't know, I feel bad. Like, damn man.
My experience has mostly been like, oh, you just don't want to say you're gay. Like it hasn't always
Oh
been negative.
wow.
Like when I say bisexual, some people it won't even phase them. But when I've had moments, and it hasn't been a lot, but the few that like I think have traumatized me a little bit because I'm like, I don't know what to say, has been like, oh, you just don't want to say you're gay. Like it's this is a lighter way of saying you're part of the community. And I'm like, no. I've had just the same amount of experiences as you have, so pretty much like part of the community here, people.
Yeah, and I hate that people think that even with anybody, but especially with gay men, people say that being bisexual is just like you like in being indecisive enough. Like just you're too scared to say you're one way or the other.
Yeah. And I've like growing up, I definitely at a certain point understood that like I'm attracted to men, but never really acted on it until I got into college. But I also have had to recognize that I grew up actually being attracted to women. So when I came to that point where I was like, am I gay? Am I not gay? When for me growing up, homosexuality wasn't even a topic, you know? So I couldn't even like figure out like what it was, or I didn't have anyone I could turn to. Um, it became something where with time now, I've realized it's not 50-50.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that like I'm out on the town hooking up with every, Jane, Dick, and whatever, John. Like it's when I meet someone, if there's an attraction, like a physical attraction, then I'll decide if I want to act on that and pursue it further. That doesn't mean
Yeah,
I've dated more.
I hate that too about like being like because I used to identify as bisexual. People used to just think that you're just sluttier, which is not even like shouldn't
Yeah.
even be a bad word. Who cares what you want to do with your life?
Who cares, first of all? And second of all, I can name a lot of straight people and a lot of, people that like one sex that are way more sexually fluid and had more sexual experiences than I have.
Right. And I guess you were also talking about yourself as a child and growing up. How did you realize that you were attracted to men?
um, that like I know you like I knew like that this would be a topic, and I there was never like one moment. It was like a gradual sort of like um I guess first it was being in public. Like I realized, oh, that man's shirt's off. I want to stare at that a little longer. Why am I staring? I don't know. And then, as you start learning in like, middle school about sexuality and stuff, I'm like, oh, so I'm possibly attracted to men. So middle school kind of started it. High school was kind of like, you know, whatever. Like I was just like, I think I know what I am, but I'm just gonna stay in the closet. I never really had like a coming out moment in high school. High school, I was just friends with everyone. I was lucky in the sense that I didn't I had been called out for being gay, and I was like, first of all, you don't even know the truth, so like you're making a bold claim there, sir. And then second of all, I was like, because I was called out without even like being like, what did I do to be called out gay? Um, it kept me more in the closet. It was through those experiences I was like, if I'm nervous for that to come out, I'm pretty sure, I'm part of the community in that way.
Yeah, I
I hope
think
that really answered it. Like I ramble, just so you guys know, I ramble a lot.
no, I like that. I like listening to you. I mean, that's why I listen to your podcast. But I guess I just wanted to know because for me, growing up, like I kind of started to see around middle school, high school that I was attracted to women, but then I thought it was a normal thing because women are so sexualized. And I,
Mhm.
and I guess I wanted to know if it was kind of similar in your perspective because men are also sexualized, maybe not as much, but was there ever a thought in your head you're like, "Oh no, I think that person is attractive, that guy is attractive, but doesn't mean that you're sexually attracted to them."
Yes, there was a little bit of that, but for me, like, it really wasn't until grade 11 or 12 where like just the idea of being attracted to um someone of the same sex was kind of like normalized. Like you can appreciate the beauty of a person, and then even sexually, like that whole conversation for me, I felt like wasn't the case. It was always like it was never spoken about, or it was just thought about like, if you're gay, then we can't be friends. Like there was a few people I knew like that, who I happened to be friends with till the end of high school.
Oh, wow.
Like not close friends, but like friends in my friend circle. And aside from that, like, there was good about that person, but looking back, I would do things differently, but I would address things differently. But for me, no, I didn't feel like men are sexualized, but I didn't feel like it was okay for me to sexualize men, because it wasn't until, like I said, midway into high school that I actually was like, there was even just like, I know it was okay to, it wasn't until then that it was okay to even have this conversation.
So, did you find someone in college or university that kind of helped you understand that part of yourself? Because for me, like I honestly didn't know until I worked at PS. Anyone in Toronto, from what I remember, everyone working at Wonderland is gay. That's how I found out I was gay. Also,
I
if
didn't
any of
know that.
yeah, it's so crazy. Like, I think there was one summer, or I guess when I was working, there was a story that came out that these people claim that people like the ride operators, which I was at Wonderland, were homophobic, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure we're all gay.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was a
I
funny
never
one.
had a bad experience with a ride operator.
Yeah, because we're all nice.
It's true. Um, I don't know. For me, I would say I think I always knew I was gay. I just didn't know to like what degree because like I said, like I there was women I wanted to go out with. And it was college. It's funny, it wasn't even anyone in my college. I just started using dating apps to talk to people. And I was talking to both men and women, and it was just like, well, let me just see, what can come of this. And then that's actually how I met my first boyfriend was through Tinder. Yeah, we were talking, and I was like, "What? Someone that knows how to hold up a conversation? Someone that knows how to communicate?"
Dude, I know. I swear on Tinder, it's like no conversation at all, like 99% of the time. I'm just like, okay, shit, man.
The conversation is, "Hey, hey, how's it going? Good. You? Good. You? I just asked you. Good. Why are
Yeah.
you asking me again?"
How's your day? I don't know, the same as yesterday, I guess. Or like the same as like the last time you asked me an hour ago.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. Like there's the game of like we can't respond right away. I respond whenever I'm ready to respond. So I
Yeah.
either will respond in like 30 seconds or you're gonna hear from me in an hour.
Yeah, honestly, that's okay. That's I don't know if anybody else gets this, but I get like anxious when I have like a lot of messages, so I don't always respond right away because I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. I don't know why.
I think it's just like you go throughout the day. For me, anyways, I go throughout the day and then like I'll finish work and I'm like, oh my god, there's messages. I don't want to look at this right now. I can't mentally. I can't even like put a sentence together right now. So you'll get me when I'm on the couch and I'm like having a drink. Then I'll respond to you.
Yeah, I think it's like when I'm more comfortable, I'm like, yeah, okay. Now I will. I have uh the mental capacity to speak and form sentences.
Exactly. But it's funny because even with dating apps, like I didn't know what to expect. So when, we were to meet up for the first time, we went I was like, I'm a get a go I'm a it's a Friday. I'm a get coffee kind of guy. So I'm like,
It's
we're gonna
okay.
get a
I'm a gay
coffee.
lesbian. I
Let's
mean,
see.
I'm a coffee lesbian too. It's okay.
And I'm a basic. I'm a French vanilla if we're going to Tim's, or a double double with milk, or if we're going to Starbucks, whatever language they can communicate coffee in, sure.
So is that where you went on your first date?
We went to Tim's. We went to Tim
How
Hortons,
Canadian?
and yeah, and it's because he went to Humber and he had class. It just so happened my Wednesday, I had one class early in the morning and then I had one late in the afternoon. So I said, because I was at Seneca, so I said, I'll commute my butt over to the West End and I don't mind because it gives
That's
me something to do between
that's
classes.
far.
It was, and thankfully, it was just literally just traveling west. I got on one bus, headed west, then we hit the central point, got on another bus, continued hitting west, and then, I don't remember, did I have to go south? Yeah, I think I had to go south a little bit on a bus. But thankfully, it was, like, the middle of the day, so it wasn't so busy with traffic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
that's where
about
we
it
we went on our
now.
date.
And I guess it went well.
Oh, that was the thing. My first like actual like legitimate date, legitimate relationship. That first whole everything was we were talking for like 3 hours and I was like, is this what it's always like? Like I don't
Oh,
know.
I miss that it sort of, but then I love it and hate that part, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like
It is it's so 50-50.
you get used to it, and then one person's like, "Nah, not anymore," and then or like you, I don't know, you get used to a certain amount of attachment, and then I don't know, some people
Yeah.
don't like it the
No,
whole time, other people do.
and I think that's kind of like we listen, it's actually interesting because we were together first for about 3 months after that coffee date. And then I ended up breaking it off because like my life was changing. I was starting to work full time, and I was going to go to school to finish up my courses, and I was like, things are moving too fast, so like I broke it off. And then like a year later we got back together, and I was happy because it ended up working out naturally that way. But then I realized in a year, like we both had changed for the good. We matured, but I became a person where I realized I can't always be everyone's attention. Like I need me time. I'm very sociable. Listen, I loved before this pandemic, I loved going out, but I can be a homebody like that.
Me too. I swear, like I the first couple months that I lived here, I was never home. I was always out, and I would come home at like maybe 4 a.m., go to sleep for like a couple hours and go to work and then repeat. But now it's like, no, I like being at home.
Yeah. I like at the beginning of this shutdown, like the pandemic when everything closed, I was okay at the beginning. That's where most people had their problems. For me, it was June and July where where my body just suddenly just shut down. My sleep schedule was so irregular. I was sleeping right after work, up in the middle of the night.
Oh
I
shit.
had no motivation. I would literally just work, sleep, eat, and then watch TV.
Okay, wait. Enough about COVID. I'm a romantic. I want to know
Sorry,
what
I
happened. How
know,
did you?
sorry.
How did? No, that's me. I got you off track.
So,
What happened? So you got back together a year later.
yes.
How?
So that was funny because, after we broke up the first 3 months, he had moved on to someone else. So, I
Like right
remember it
after?
was about not right after, it was I think about it was like a month or 2 later, I think. So, uh, what happened was we didn't talk. We kind of like kept each other on certain apps and stuff, and we had each other's number, but we just never spoke. And
Mhm.
then something happened in like February where just naturally we were just like nothing, no emotions, just talking as people, talking as friends. And then towards the summer, well, I guess not really summer yet, but it was like April, we were like, you want to like just like meet up. So for me, if you ask my side of the story, like April we met up and I was like, "Oh, maybe there's still feelings there." And then, over the course of a couple months, like actually more than a couple, June, yeah, let's say 3 months. Over the course of 3 months, I think we both naturally realized like we were talking more, hanging out more, and we kind of just both naturally realized like he was also in not in a like at the time he was not happy in his relationship, but I
Oh,
don't
so he was in a
like
relationship.
yeah, but we were talking as friends, like nothing happened. Like I made sure like no lines were crossed. Like I gave respect to that relationship. We were friends, but for me, it ended up becoming a thing where I was like, "Oh my God, like I have strong feelings for you still. Like it's probably stronger now than it was when we were first together." So I got to a point in the summer where I was like, I have to tell him because if I don't tell him now, like I don't know what's gonna happen, but like either he has the same thing, like he feels the same way, or he's happy in his relationship and I'll back out because I'll need time to get over this.
Damn,
and it
man.
just so and it just so happened that he admitted that he was feeling the same way. It was such a it had the potential to be such a messy situation, and obviously someone did get hurt in the end, but you know on in the scheme of things, the fact that we lasted for just over a year, I mean, I would say we made the right move by, acting on our emotions.
No, but you guys, even like, even though you both felt it, you both were like completely honest with like all parties involved, which I think was very like admirable. Because a lot of people would just
Yeah,
be like, especially like someone else in his position, someone who's like afraid to talk about hard stuff would just like, you know, not tell the other person lie and like get whatever they want. So,
yeah.
yes, I love a good love story. Sad that you guys, I'm sure it ended for, better view, or maybe I don't know, you guys will end up together again. I don't know. I'm a fucking hopeless romantic.
You
Eh,
know, at my core, I'm a hopeless romantic as well. But like as I'm reliving in the real world, I'm like, it's not always like the movies. I'm not Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. I'm not Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, but
oh my
I
god,
am a hopeless
those.
romantic.
Yeah, it's like I always want things to end up happy and people to end up together, but it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just better. It's like people have to choose themselves. Circumstances sometimes are
Yeah.
just not there.
And the circumstances for us, like, I mean, we were a couple that failed during the pandemic. Like that's when we broke up, probably
Oh
back in like
no.
August.
It was you guys were together in the
The problem was, I mean, one of the problems was like we weren't seeing each other a lot, but we were communicating a lot. And then I just think, this like something like this really tests a relationship.
yeah.
And if you're not willing to stick it out and, problems arise and you realize things, it's either you continue to suffer, not suffer, but you continue to put yourself through that, or you end it and sort of like a break and or whatever, you just end it. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what we ended up as is just ending it
Cause like
because,
sometimes
it wasn't
people's
just the pandemic, it was other things too that kind of like blended in with it, but it happened.
yeah, but like it's like, yeah, it's the pandemic really fucking pushes things like you to test stuff, and then it's like it takes away like for me, like one of my biggest love languages like affection, touch and stuff, and like fuck bitches like the cuddle. I can't cuddle. you know?
And that was something I had to realize too because I'm not I would definitely say he was the more physical one. Like I could like if we were sitting on the couch, I have no problem being on the other end of the couch. And like me just like expanding my body to to the room. But I think I had to realize that like the physical touch for him was very important, whereas I'm more like connection, emotional, like verbal kind of way. And I had to realize that that's where part of the problem started. And then with the pandemic, it allows you to think about everything and your great grandmother. So
Again, that was close to a spit take. Yes.
but that's what the pandemic does, and that's why we saw so many couples end because you have no choice but to face it, right? You can't hide from it. Before the
Mhm.
pandemic, things moved way too fast that it slowed everything down for like a good year.
Yeah. It's like I heard a lot of stories, most people breaking up, but there were some like really good endings,
Yes,
or not endings, like people are still alive, but some couples ended up moving in together and, are happy.
that is true as well. There are a couple, I do know relationships that have survived, that made it through. It was one of those things at the beginning. I was hearing a lot of couples ending, and I was like, oh, that's not gonna be
Yeah.
me. Don't worry.
God, yeah, I agree. I mean, before the podcast, we were talking about Shonda and how we love Shonda Rhimes shows. And, a big part of all her shows are like the love stories. So we always just think,
I
it's good.
love a Shonda Rhimes love story. I do. I fall for it every time, and I feel every word that they say. It's so real to me. To me, it's very realistic about how love can be.
Yeah. I guess talking about how I was watching Bridgerton and I'm on that part in the last episode, episode 8, where they were taking their portrait was being painted, and they looked at each other, and I'm like, oh my god, my heart.
I'm just gonna say this. I don't know if I haven't talked about it yet on my show, but the one thing I left Bridgerton feeling was I didn't know finishing in someone could be so romantic.
Wait, I'm not at that part yet. It's at episode 8. What the fuck?
Oh my god! I don't know. I thought that was 7.
Wait, there is a
I'm
part.
so sorry.
It's okay. I'll pretend
Wait,
it's
no, it should have happened before. Wait, no, it should have been before. The part I'm talking about, I think, is before
where she tricked him.
the finale. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
yeah,
But let's just pretend it's that
maybe. I
because
can't remember. There's a lot of finishings, so we don't. I'm not going to say which one I'm referring to, but just scratch that crap. See, and I
okay.
said I wasn't going to spoil anything. Sorry.
No, but oh, this is so sad. I thought that was like a long time ago, and that I was gonna ask you about your dating life pre and post COVID. Uh,
Well, I can say pre because I did have a little bit before pre. Pre that one year I was off, it was I had no motivation to talk to anybody. I was like, who am I gonna talk to? Then, months went by and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I had like, like a coffee date here and, like a pizza date there. And I was like, who are these people? I'm like, and actually, I can't even say anything bad about the 2 dates that I actually went on because it just was like I was like, "Oh, so this is what it's like to not connect with somebody on
oh
like."
my god, yeah. I didn't know that was a thing because okay, well, again, if you want to, I mean, gay GTA, I found my first girlfriend at Wonderland. So it was like literally I found out that like I figured I sorted it through that, I was attracted to women, and then I found my first girlfriend within I don't know how many months. But yeah, so it's
Yeah.
quick. So and before that I had a boyfriend, and we were together for I don't know 3 years, and then realized I was gay, then found a girlfriend a couple months later. So there was like really like no time for me where I was single and dating around too much. So then after like I broke up with my first girlfriend, we were together for I think 3 years or something like that. Yeah, so I was like in a relationship for 6 years, and then I started dating around. I'm like, oh my god, I thought there was plenty of fish in the sea.
Not for everybody.
It's, I mean, I'm not saying that there's bad people, but I'm just,
No, it's not even about bad people.
yeah, you just don't connect. It's like you go out dating, or like not even like just when you're like when we were talking about you're messaging somebody on Tinder, and like the conversation goes nowhere, and like they could
Yeah.
go on and have a conversation with somebody else and have it go on for like I don't know weeks.
Yeah, honestly. Like sometimes you go on these dates and you're just like, "Oh my god, I'm talking to myself and I can't find one common interest." Like what do I talk about? Like I remember I was like with the moment I find one topic that I'm like, "Oh, his eyes are open now." I'm like, "Good, we'll just keep this one going as far as we can and hopefully it can branch out into another conversation."
But then it doesn't. And then it
It
doesn't. And I'm just
doesn't.
like, fuck. And then like, or sometimes they barely even talk about that one thing. I'm just like, fuck.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, "You have nothing to say?" Like, how do you have nothing to say? Explain that to me. You don't have
Right?
any interests. Nothing, nothing, no goals, no stories. I don't care if it's about your little sister, like something. If it's about your cat, tell me about the damn cat.
Yeah, like I hate these topics that it's like, oh, how are you doing? What do you do? Are you in school? Did you go to school? What are you doing for? I don't know. Your like basic life questions, and it's like, no,
Yeah,
tell me about your little sister, like a cute little story, or like I don't know your pets. Tell me about your pets.
honestly, it's so true.
Yeah, or like, have you ever like I was talking to this one girl on Tinder, and it was going well. We were like joking around and whatever, and like texting was fine. But then we met in person. No.
Yeah, I had that happen once. This actually happened like oh my god, a long time ago, like maybe a couple years ago, and I remember being like, "Oh, this guy, like, he's cool. He seems really chill. We seem to get along." Then I meet up in person, and I'm like, there's being shy and nervous, and then there's just being like completely closed off. And I was like, "Buddy, you can't come into this being completely closed off. I'm not your mother." Like,
Yeah, like you can talk to me about
like
anything. You don't have to like you wanted to go on this date.
you
You
agreed to
agreed.
this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't. Yeah, like obviously this is all pre-COVID.
Yeah.
But
I mean, during
um,
COVID, um, I didn't like I took a break. I was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. But then I just did it because I was just like, let me just see like what's out there. And like surprisingly, I actually was surprised sort of like the people I was meeting. I was like, these are some like the conversations I was having. I was like, these are great conversations. And I remember, I had one opportunity to like go on a date and I was just like, it's a pandemic. I'm not feeling it. And
yeah.
this all happened within like 2 weeks of being on the app. And I've
Oh
only
wow.
like throughout this whole shutdown, this whole COVID, I've only been on the like dating apps for 2 weeks. Cause then I was just like, you know what? I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not in the mood. I've been a couch potato. Like 2020, I blew up like a whale.
Oh,
And I'm not even angry about it. I'm just I sat, I ate late, I had great food. It wasn't like I felt disgusting. No, when I
mhm.
when I pig out at midnight, I'm ordering I'm ordering the best type of crap that you can buy.
Yeah. People started like Uber Eats was nice.
Yeah, honestly, when you can't go anywhere and it's just a Walmart and a pharmacy, I'm like, Uber Eats came in clutch.
Right?
I learned about restaurants I didn't even know were in my area.
Me too. And like I'm vegan, right? So it's hard for me to find restaurants that have a lot of food. But my God, there's so many vegan places I didn't know existed, like vegan dessert places and
Yeah.
whatever. I'm like, thank you, Uber Eats.
Yeah, honestly.
No, but I guess for I actually deleted all my dating apps like last year, I guess around the
Mhm.
summertime, because I was just so over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck them. It's like
It's
it's
it's it's it's tough. It is tough to a degree. You have to people take offense if you fall asleep while
yeah.
messaging between I had someone block me because I said, "I'm so sorry. I, like, passed out because I had a long day." And then, like, the next second I knew, I was like, "Wait, where'd they go?
What the
Where'd they go?
fuck?
Esper?"
But you know how you said started tried dating again after like during the COVID. Did you find that people were more responsive during text? Because before in a pre-COVID, I'm sure like
Yes.
I always excuse that people are just busy during the day, which like I mean I was as well. I'm working and whatever.
I saw that completely. I was shocked. I remember messaging my friend being like, "People are having conversations now because they have no other choice." And especially at the beginning, we really had no other choice. And so I was
Yeah.
impressed. I think that's why I was shocked about like the way I was interacting with people on the app. But still, you kind of can weed out like people that are just having a conversation to do it and people that are actually interested. Um, I still look back and I think maybe if we didn't have COVID, maybe I would have pursued things more. But I, I feel like dating right now through the app and, like, having to meet in person. I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't wanna commute." I keep my circle of friends and family. That's good for me right now.
Yeah, like, that's also the tough thing, right? Because you don't wanna die, and then you have, like, you have your circle, and then, like, if you get infected from, like, a date by chance, then you, like, potentially kill people in your circle, and the people in your circle, they're
Yeah,
closest to you, they're your most loved ones, so that's gonna fucking suck.
that's the other thing too, right? Like, I had to also think about my family, and I'm like, "I can't put them at risk," you know? Most of like, the my inner circle family is like half of them are over 50. So I don't
Oh.
want to put anyone at risk. And that was the other thing too of being in a relationship during the pandemic. I'm like, I live with my family, but my ex lived, with a roommate. So it was easier for him to sort of like, if he like, with all due respect, during the pandemic, like if a young person got sick, generally speaking, the first couple of days are bad and then they'll be okay. If
Yeah.
I got sick, it's a domino effect. God knows
Yeah.
who is going to get sick and God knows how they're going to react to it.
Yeah.
So that's also been part of it too while dating.
Yeah, I guess like that's also a big thing like I didn't want to risk. And hey, my cousin just had a little baby during the pandemic
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, I had a friend, she gave birth like 2, 3 days after we got shut down. And I was like, I can't imagine raising a child, let alone a baby during this time. Like I
Yeah.
can't, like I can't even think about it. I'm like, I don't know what you do. That's stressful.
Cause yeah, you need your family around you and stuff, and then you gotta be like careful about who you're letting into your circle, and you have to be extra careful because you have a newborn.
Like when you meet a newborn, like before the pandemic, like the rule is you wash your hands, then
Mhm.
you can hold the baby. Like now it's like, don't even touch the child. Don't come near the child.
Yeah,
Stay 6 feet apart from the child.
you can watch from over there.
Yeah, watch through this plexiglass. Watch her jump.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, so I was, talking to somebody that was not in the country, so
Oh,
that
I've done that too. Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
so that during the COVID was not fun. And then you have to think about like fucking quarantining and shit. And I think I would go nuts if I had to quarantine in a $2,000 hotel.
I don't know. I hated it. I hated that role, especially because it's 2 weeks and they like, I had to think about it like this. I've been in a hotel room with just me, my parents, my sister, and it was 3 days, 2 nights, and we wanted to kill each other. Imagine being 2 weeks with your family
No.
and all you're getting is some snotty bread with some cheese, and you can't open a window, you can't leave the room.
Wait, so you
I,
didn't?
I, No, I didn't do it. I was
Oh,
just comparing like my 3 days, 2 nights with my family in a hotel room to
oh,
families that
okay.
have to quarantine in a hotel room, and I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'll take the fine. My house is thankfully set up to, if one of us got sick, the whole basement they can have. They have a
Yeah.
kitchen, they have the
Oh,
bathroom, they can
nice.
quarantine in there. Like I can't. No, I can't do it. And I like fresh air. Like you can't even. There's
Yeah.
no windows. I mean, there's
That's
windows, but you can't open them.
yeah, and like, okay, first of all, I don't know how you did that with your family because I can't even I can at most have dinner with my family and then I have to be like, okay, bye. See
Yeah.
you in a couple weeks or months or whatever. But also, even if I were to quarantine alone, like I'm pretty like I'm an ambivert. I like to be alone a lot. I also like to talk to people. But if I had to be alone, my own thoughts by myself in a hotel room for 2 fucking weeks, I would go crazy. Thank you for listening to part 1 of my chat with Chris. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Follow Chris at Loud and Proud Podcast and me at Gay Monologues. That's GAYMONOGU. Wait, I think I missed a letter. At GAYMONOLOGUES. I really fucking missed you all. I will see you next week. Bye bye.